All right, so this is basically how to get in real estate, how to get in real estate. So this is for the novice or the person that is thinking about trying to invest in real estate. Okay, this is basically my second take. The first take, the sound was off, and I had to redo this video. So anyway, I'm gonna try to condense it because the other video was I think like over an hour. Basically, I'm gonna get right into it. Before you even think about getting into real estate, I would say that you should do a few things. I'll say these are like prerequisites. So you want to know everything there is about the modern single family home. Okay, what do I mean by that? So if you're trying to get in the business of building cars and refurbishing cars, it would be to your best benefit to know all of the components of a vehicle. Okay, a typical vehicle, right? From the chassis to the motor, the transmission, the wiring, all of that you probably need to know about a car when you're trying to restore cars. So in real estate, that's what you're going to be either paying a contractor to do, or you're going to be doing some of the work, if not all of the work yourself, depending on how handy you are. Um, you will be either paying someone, or you'll be doing some of the work, or maybe even possibly all of the work. Okay, so it is your best interest to know all of the components of a house. Okay, just so you can protect yourself and you know what you're talking about when you're talking to a tradesman to basically work on your house. It would help that you know the language, the lay of the land, so you can have, basically uh, basically leverage in the conversation about pricing and everything like that. It helps that you know what you're talking about, and it also helps to avoid people trying to take advantage of it. Because if they find out you don't know anything, then they may or may not charge you more. Uh, it's just how the industry is. But the thing is if you know the inner workings of a house, you're professional as far as your delivery and knowing all of the components of a house. People will take you serious, more serious than someone that doesn't know anything. Okay, you will learn these things over time. It is very much a educational class. Trying to purchase real estate, you can watch plenty of videos. You can watch a lot of videos. You still gonna make mistakes. So if you have a fear of making mistakes, um, you probably need to work on that, because you're gonna make a lot of mistakes in this business. Okay, so just like anything else in life. Now, once you learn all the, basically the inner workings of a house, like a roof, a soffit, fascia, foundation, interior, exterior of a home, basically, garages, landscaping, plumbing, electrical, you basically have some foundation that you can work with. Okay, you have like they have basically books you could buy. You could buy construction books. You can download construction books. There's different housing codes depending on where you located in, the United States. Every city, county has different construction codes. Okay, so it's not important to know all of the codes. Your tradesmen that you hire should know the codes for that local area that you're working in. If not, you could go to any local city and they have the housing codes. They can print it out and give you the housing codes. Um, Also, inspectors also know the local housing codes. So if you pay for an inspector, they'll let you know if your house is up to code or what the code requirements are. Okay. That being said, you have to look at this as basically you need to have, it depends on where you're investing. There are capital requirements. I mean, obviously, you need to have either credit or capital. Okay. In my case, when I started, I didn't have credit. Okay. Years in, I was able to get a little bit of credit to work on my house, to buy materials and stuff. But when I started, I didn't have any credit. Okay, I used basically seller financing agreements, which is basically an agreement with you and the seller, and they basically you make an agreement with the seller to purchase that home over time. It's usually a down payment involved, and then you pay the house off in payments, and typically less than like 5 years. Really, honestly, less than 2 or 3 years. Okay, because they want to get their money right away and move on. Okay, they don't want to be, like some mortgage company or something where it's a 30-year mortgage and all of that. And I would say if you do get into a seller financing agreement that is a 30-year mortgage, I wouldn't trust it because how do you know that person is going to be alive for 30 years? And then it's the same for them. How do they know you're going to be around for 30 years trying to pay for a house? That's a lot of trust. I would say if you don't have the money to buy the house in a couple years, as far as make the payments on it, you get something that you can afford. But there's other basically those are the only two options, obviously capital or credit, meaning you have the money already or you have the credit. Okay, in my case, like I said, I use seller financing, but you could buy houses cash. There is places in America that you could buy a house for less than $50,000. Okay, typically these houses are basically houses that need to be renovated, or what basically the industry term is they're full gut rehabs, meaning everything has to be gutted down to the bare studs, and you have to rebuild the insulation, rebuild the walls, drywall, paint, floors, electrical, plumbing. These are the most expensive repairs, renovations that you're going to do in real estate. But those are some of the things, right? Like prerequisites. You also should know about. I have information on my website, brokegeniuses.com, as well as my YouTube page, where I have a real estate playlist where I have some of these prerequisites as far as what the interior of a house is like, what are the parts involved with that, the exterior of a house, interior, exterior. Basically, I have some of those videos on my YouTube page. Also, there's something called housing grades and also neighborhood grades. The housing grades are F through A. So the A, basically C and above, as far as housing grades, is basically almost move-in ready. C would be like, C is almost move-in ready, meaning you might have to do some cleaning, some heavy cleaning, or some painting, maybe some light construction, light renovations to get the house move-in ready. B is pretty much move-in ready. A is perfect condition, move-in ready, basically. Everything below means it needs to be renovated. Okay. D is, you know, I'll say like kind of medium renovation. Uh, F is like completely the house needs to be renovated. Like a complete gut job would be a F grade property. Then you also have locations, which is more important, very very important. Location is everything in real estate. If you heard that before, some real estate agent saying locate, or you just heard somebody say location, location, location. Yeah, location is everything in real estate. Location is why real estate is so expensive, because in high demand areas, typically middle to upper class neighborhoods are the most in high demand. Okay, they have more better schools, more tax base. They have more amenities that is in those areas. It's just more, a lot of more, just better situations. Okay, I have videos on that as well, as far as the neighborhood grades, because you obviously have F grade neighborhoods and A grade neighborhoods. Okay, I'll just say this: as far as if you're coming in this business, you got to understand you probably gonna have the four, kind of three of I think it's four things in real estate. Um, that this is just kind of how I look at it, but other people it's the same thing no matter what. How whoever has a different philosophy, it might be a little bit different, but my philosophy is a lot of things are related to capital, material, or basically let's just start it off with time, material, labor, and capital. So yeah, it's four things, right? Time, material, labor, capital. The hardest thing about this business, obviously, okay, the reason why I have this channel is capital is gonna be your hardest problem to overcome. Like that is the, almost anything, even in business, whatever. Money is the, hardest thing to capture. If you got a lot of it, cool, that's good, but most people don't. So those capital requirements is going to be your hardest part about real estate. Some people that have capital, like I know some people that got capital, okay, their problem is they don't have the labor, they don't have the people to help them do certain things. They don't really have a lot of people because they don't do a lot of real estate. They may do one or two houses or whatever every 10, 20 years or whatever. Regardless of the fact, the most problem you're going to have is capital. I find that the people that don't know how to find talent or labor, they don't know how to look up different websites and portals, because they do have a lot of websites and portals, such as Home Advisor. You got Angie's List. You got a lot of different ways you can find handyman or tradesmen, okay, to help you do projects on your house, okay. But keep in mind, obviously, the barrier of entry to real estate, what really messes people up most, like I would say 99% of the time, is the capital, the requirements to invest in real estate. Okay, that's gonna be where your major headache is. That is the reason why you're getting into real estate, because you're trying to make some money. The barrier to entry is gonna most likely be capital. Okay, uh, you're saying that in relation to the neighborhood grades. A lot of times, you might have to start off in like F grade neighborhoods. Okay, basically the hood or the ghetto or the trailer park or whatever. You most likely, most people, that's how they start off. They start off and then they scale up in real estate, right? Because you kind of get in where you fit in. You build up, and that's where the most value is as well, because you got to understand, investors are the ones that basically revitalize a community and bring a community up. Well, if you got a bunch of investors moving into a city, they can literally turn that city from an F grade neighborhood to a D, C, or even above. I've seen it happen. I've seen these things happen over my lifetime. New York was like that. When I was a little kid in the '80s, even Chicago, it was certain areas where it was like the hood. Where I grew, well, basically where I was a little boy, Bronzeville, in Chicago, it was very, very, very tough and very ghetto in the early '80s. Now you can't even buy a building in Brownsville and don't spend less than $1 million. It's just time and just location, basically, as far as why that is, because Brownsville is very close to downtown Chicago. So once basically a lot of money was being made in '90s, 2000s, the dot-com boom, internet revolution. It just like New York. It just basically a lot of international investment came in, a lot of capital was being made, and that area just it just went up, okay, in value. So these are basically the things that you gotta keep in mind. Capital requirements is gonna be your major headache. Um, it possibly can get better over time, and it goes into how good you manage your money. One of the things I'll say, a lot of people rent. Like 60% of I think African Americans rent. So if you buy uh, one property, it could change your life. Okay, it'll take you out of that rent paradigm, which will put money in your pocket if you do it right, versus you have money going out the window every month. So the thing is this. I'm not talking about all of the rent versus buy or anything like that. I'm just saying, basically, capital is going to be your biggest headache. If you get to the point where you have any issues, I have basically on my website brokegeniuses.com, I have consultations on pretty much all of my videos. So if you have any questions, you can just hit the consult me button, and then I can answer your questions. I'm giving away basically whatever you pay as far as consultation. I'll basically uh, double it. So if you pay for 10 minutes, I'll give you 20 minutes. Okay. If you pay for 30 minutes, I'll give you an hour. So that's what I'm going. That's what I'm doing right now. So if you have any questions about real estate, any problems with things that you might already be working on, I can help you with those questions. So the first thing is, like I said, prerequisites, knowing locations, what the grades are of those locations, the grades of properties, what is a typical single family home, what are the components as far as what is in a house. They have different houses like ranches. Okay, they have basically mid contemporary homes. They have colonial style homes. A lot of these things you could learn from basically taking a deep dive into architecture. They show you the different types of homes and stuff like that. I've done that because I went to school for construction for about a year, because I knew I was gonna want to be in real estate. So I took those classes, construction class, architecture class, and basically these are some of the things that you learn in that type of field. So you don't have to go to college to do that. You could just take a deep dive. You could buy some books. You could download some PDFs. You could watch. They have YouTube videos about how the different types of houses, in typical houses in America. Chicago has a lot of bungalows and ranches, brick homes that are, basically, like I said, bungalows are more like apartment buildings, multifamily, and then ranches are like single family homes. So they have a lot of those in the Midwest, primarily Chicago. Gary has a lot of those as well. Gary, Indiana. Um, Different parts of the Chicago suburbs have a lot of these properties. And the thing is that it does help to know these things as far as, like I say, a prerequisite. Now, moving along, once you know these things, I would say these prerequisites, now you want to basically start looking for properties. Okay. I'm going to realtor.com because everybody knows that. Okay. I do know of investor only websites. I know quite a bit. Okay. One of those is, basically, I'll say auction.com. Auction.com is like basically for foreclosures. They're national foreclosures that you could bid on. I know quite a few investor only platforms that you could buy real estate. I know groups. I cannot condense all of that in this live stream. Like I say, if you do have any questions, you can basically consult with me and I can give you a list of what I have as far as investor only websites, investment groups. You can go find investment properties on Craigslist. My house that I'm in right now, I found it on Craigslist. Uh, Also, Facebook Marketplace, they sell homes that basically are on Facebook Marketplace. It's a lot of ways you can find properties. This is not the typical way that you want to buy a property because this is retail. This is you're buying a house off. If you're buying a house off Realtor.com, you're basically buying a retail house. That's not what you want to do. You want to get a house that's off the market. Okay, typically that's where you're gonna get most of your bang for your buck. But I'm just showing this is just for an example. Okay, whatever money that you have to work with. You might only have $10,000 to $15,000. You might have $100,000. You might have $50,000 that you are able to invest in real estate. Okay, and when I look for properties, I would just say house only because I'm just keeping it simple. I'm not even getting them multifamily. Multifamily is a whole nother beast. It's advanced real estate. That's what I call it because basically it's more expensive because you're dealing with a commercial property. It has way more things than a single family home typically has. Like it has the mechanical systems are way more expensive than a basically residential home. It's more of advanced. Okay, I'm not saying that that's not something that you can get into, but just understand it's like basically playing a game on like hard mode. Okay, you can do it, but it's whatever difficulty you will have with the single family home, you're gonna have way more with most likely a multifamily because you're dealing with, like I said, different mechanicals. It's a bigger home typically. It's more rooms, way more bathrooms, just way more everything that takes has capital that is needed to get these things working and keep them working. So that's that. But these are, basically kind of, the lowest properties in the Chicagoland area. Okay, Cook County to be exact. I'm just gonna click on one of these just to kind of show you as far as what you can possibly do. All right, so this is basically a ranch, home, brick ranch home. This is in basically a D F neighborhood. This house is, I can already tell, it's basically a F grade house. Okay, now you might be intimidated by this property. I am not. Someone has already bought this property. It's contingent, or they're in the process of buying this property. The reason why you can't see the inside of this property is because it's in bad condition. Houses like this, I just automatically assume the worst. It's an F grade property, and it's gonna probably cost you between 50 to 50 plus $1,000 to renovate. It might be less, but basically I just put everything into grades. This is not something that I created on my own. I learned housing grades from other real estate investors. Okay, if it's F grade, I already assumed that it's 50 plus $1,000 as far as the capital requirements to renovate this house. And even though this house is only 10 grand, it is worth it in this neighborhood to invest, because I already know the lay of the land. And this is, I'm basically, this is the south suburbs of Chicago. That's pretty much where I grew up. Okay, so I know this is a solid investment. Whoever put this on contract, they knew it was a solid investment. And you would just have to know the area, the location. A F grade neighborhood, you got to be very, very careful, and that's where the location is really. Location is more important than the actual house. It is better to have a plot of land in, let's just say, a C or above neighborhood than have a basically a A grade house in an F grade neighborhood. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying, like basically, it's better to have a plot of land, no house, in a very good neighborhood versus having a very good condition house in a bad neighborhood. Okay, that's just kind of how that works. Location is everything in real estate. But when you're starting off, usually you don't have that much money to work with. You're going to have to most likely get in where you fit in. And a lot of times that is F grade, D grade neighborhoods. Now you can build up over time. That's all you need to know. Okay. The thing is, you have to be careful, because when you're dealing with F grade neighborhoods and F grade properties, D grade properties, and stuff like that, it is essential for you to know that you can either, one, sell that house, two, you can collect rent in that neighborhood. Typically, F grade neighborhoods are not good to flip properties, and not good to collect cash rent. A lot of times what people do is they rely on Section 8 to have the government pay the rent for these people that qualify for Section 8. So it's guaranteed income coming in. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to collect rent as far as cash. You would have to have a good system as far as how to screen people. But what I'm saying is, it's certain neighborhoods that's so bad, don't nobody hardly want to live in them. Okay? So you have to be very careful on, okay, is this property in this location viable enough that I can actually collect some rent, or I can actually fix this house up and flip it? You would find those indicators by looking up the sold listings. The sold listings will tell you if you can actually, and this part, everything that I'm talking about is due diligence. Okay, these are due diligence questions that you need to ask yourself. Can I sell this property? Can I rent this property? If the answer is shaky or questionable, you really might have to do some more research and see, maybe ask other investors in the neighborhood how they're doing as far as collecting rent and stuff like that. But like I said, some people just deal with Section 8. Section 8 has requirements that you have certain codes and stuff like that, your house to have certain things as far as requirements for you to qualify to basically rent out your home to a Section 8 tenant. But the actual money is guaranteed by the government and it's deposited into your account every month. Now, the thing is that one of the problems that you might have is also with renting a home, you might have someone mess up your property. So you got to be careful about that too. If you don't have the financial leverage to deal with someone messing up your property, then you probably don't want to get into that side of business as far as property management. You might want to just fix and flip until you can get enough financial leverage to where if somebody messes up your home, you could take care of it. You have lawyers to sue them on the back end. But a lot of times, a lot of people are not. One of the things that I know about real estate is people that are on the property management side, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to screen people. Okay, a lot of people are definitely on the cash side as far as people collecting cash rent. Mainly, when I say cash, I mean basically people that don't have Section 8. So when I say cash, that's everybody that don't have Section 8, which is most people don't have Section 8. So the thing is that one of the things that I find about people that I know and others that collect rent, they themselves, they don't deal with business pretty well. They just basically go off handshakes, promises, and word to mouth when it comes to tenants, and that is not how you want to deal with investing in real estate. You want to have paperwork, you want to check backgrounds, you want to check credit, you want to basically look at things as far as, does this person qualify to pay me rent? If they don't qualify, you basically taking unnecessary risk because you just don't know how to screen people. Because real estate is valuable. If you don't value it, basically other people are not going to value it either. Okay, if you just giving away your house to someone that possibly is, you don't know anything because you don't even know their background, you don't know their credit requirements. Like if they got a less than 550 credit score, you pretty much need to collect 2 months security deposit, and that may run them off because they might not have that. If they do have it, that's what you require, for them to rent your house because they're a high risk tenant, and people don't do that. The people that do it, they make the money in real estate because they driving off those people that probably have shaky credit and are future bad tenants or non-paying tenants, right? Because if you have basically not saying, okay, I will still rent to you, but you need to put up more money because obviously you're risky. They could be upset about that or whatever. People know they have bad credit, and they don't, if they don't understand that, then you don't want to deal with them anyway, because you're dealing with a person that's delusional. So it's a lot of stuff involved with that. But I'm just saying, certain locations, is going to be hard, if not almost impossible, to collect rent. So you got to be very, very careful of that. Ideally, what you want to invest in is a neighborhood that's up and coming, but basically maybe below a C as far as a grade of a neighborhood, because you do have neighborhood grades. I talk about this on my YouTube videos as far as real estate on my website brokegeniuses.com. So those are the things that you need to know as far as your due diligence. Can I flip this property? Can I either collect rent? How hard are these things? Because you need to know this before you start spending some money and investing in real estate, okay, in a particular area. The location is way more important than the house, okay? If you think in house, you are you're thinking wrong, because basically location is way more important than the actual house. Okay, so after your due diligence, like I said, depending on how much money you have, I'm in the Midwest, so yeah, you have properties like this where the barrier of entry is $10,000. Okay, 10 bands, as the people on the street say. Okay, and that's what is required to basically get this property. Now, you want to get a lawyer, a real estate attorney. Okay, I'll tell you what you need as far as people to invest in your property. You need a real estate attorney. You need basically an inspector. You need tradesmen. You should get a list of tradesmen, build up a list of tradesmen, and basically figure out, do they call you back on time? Because you got a lot of shady tradesmen or whatever, handymen. Are they professional? Professionalism is their service that's rendered or products they sell and their customer service. I'm a professional person. Okay, you want to make sure that the person you dealing with is professional. Are everybody gonna be polished and well mannered and good communicators? No. Okay, some of these people are blue collar. They basically come from a family that's blue collar. They're a little rough around the edges. So expecting them to be perfect, they're not going to be perfect. You just want to know, are they going to be basically diligent about working for you, and are they going to do a good job? Okay. And you're going to have your favorites, and basically you'll build that up over time. Okay. It is hard to find tradesmen, though. I'm not gonna say it's not hard. It is hard, and especially if you don't really have a lot of capital, you will have to find a tradesman that kind of can, basically work within your budget. Okay, I'm not saying that they gotta do something that's really really dirt cheap because you don't have no money. I mean something that is competitive. Okay, different prices, different. You got. I mean, I'll just say it like this: if you had the money, this is typically how it's supposed to work, right? If you got, let's just say, you got $1 million worth of funding, you can contact a construction company like this house right here. A construction representative will come to this house, and they will literally look at everything, write down everything, and then basically they're going to go back to their office at their construction company, run up all the material lists, run up basically an itemized report as far as how much this house will be to renovate. And it's going to be expensive because construction companies are actually the most expensive as far as real estate costs, but they are the best. Because they already have the crews, they already have the general contractors to manage the property as far as the renovation. They give you a timeline. I mean, probably they're gonna charge you, you give or take probably, let's just say this property, probably $75,000 to fix this property up. Because they charge more. But what are they gonna do? They're gonna give you, they're gonna say, it's going to take us probably about 90 days to fix this property up, which is typical for a construction company because they have paid staff that can work from Monday through Friday, if not weekends, to fix this property up right away. But it's going to cost the most. Okay, most people don't come into business with money like that. So, and also, you're not going to make that much profit if the construction labor is $75,000. Okay, you're going to make the most money basically GCing the project yourself. That's why I say learn about the inner workings of a house. Okay, learn basically how to hire your own tradesman. Okay, learn how to, even if you could, learn how to actually fix up a house. Okay, learn certain things, right? And basically these things save on cost. But the thing is certain things you cannot touch. You can't touch no electrical. You can't do no, certain things that are have to be up to code. Basically, they have to be done right. Now, I'm not gonna say you can't do certain stuff because I do it, but you gotta be careful that it's up to code. You gotta make sure it's up to code. Now, the thing is you, like I say, I just said what you do if you got the funds. Some people build their own construction company. Okay, they get their own crew together, and over time you're gonna have so much capital where you could actually have your own crew of people, and basically you're flipping 3 or 4 or more properties a year, and you have a crew of workers that are constantly working on properties. In the morning, you getting up, checking on these properties. That could be your life. Okay, if you get into this business, that is gonna be your life. So once you get to that point, you can kind of have your own construction crew, or have your LLC with your real estate business, and then also a construction company along with your real estate business. And that's just for you to trade, basically pay your tradesmen, and basically, work your real estate projects. Okay, so that's separate. That's business related and stuff like that. But the thing is you're gonna be starting off most likely with low capital, and you're going to try to get the best investment you can possibly can. So let's say you bought this property, okay? You got it for 10 grand, right? There's no tax liens. Your lawyer checked to pull the title and everything like that. The reason why you need a lawyer is so you can make sure you can purchase property and it's no legal issues. Your lawyer, a good lawyer, will protect you from any legal issues in association with you purchasing the property, getting the title transferred from the previous owner to your name. That's why an attorney is important. Okay, now the thing is when you get the property, okay, you got the property already. Now you want to renovate. You want to get right into renovation. Okay, what do you need? You need to get a dumpster. You need to get a demolition team, or you and your homies that you grew up with, depending on how many homies you still got left. You can get some pizza, some beer, some chicken wings, or whatever, and then, get them some money after they just pull everything out the house and then put it in the dumpster. Or you can hire a demolition crew to pull everything out the house that is not needed in the house. And basically the goal is you are prepping for renovations. Okay, you're getting ready to start renovating the home. Okay, so you want to get everything out the property, make it like empty as possible, and work on basically getting the house prepped for renovation. That's step one. After everything is said, you want to make sure the most important things are dealt with first. You got foundation issues, you got to deal with those first. Roofing issues, you got to deal with those. Okay, ideally, you do not want to buy a property that has foundation issues and roofing issues. This house here obviously needs a roof. I can just tell that by just looking at the roof. Okay, you can patch the roof to give you some time. Okay, that's something that you could possibly do, but that's just kind of just to give you some time. You really want to get a roof that is solid, is leak free. Because if you install drywall and installation, it's gonna mess that up. Okay, if you got leaks in your roof. So you want to basically do the hard stuff first, as far as after demo. Then you want to go right into mechanicals. Mechanicals is basically your plumbing, electrical, your sewage, basically line, water heaters, electrical box. Basically those are your mechanicals. HVAC as well, your furnace, your AC unit, your duct work. You want to make sure those are solid. After those are solid, you want to start right to walls, to basically doing drywall. If it's a full gut rehab, you got to install all new drywall, all new insulation. And after that, you want to do basically flooring, okay, your bathroom, your kitchen, and then fixtures. That's your electrical outlets, ceiling fans, lighting, anything that's going to be attached to the house, a fixture, okay? Then after that, you're going to basically finalize things outside. Any like landscaping need to be done, garage need to be repaired, and then lastly, you're gonna have a punch down list. It's gonna be a lot of imperfections, a lot of things that need to be done. Basically, you're gonna write down everything that needs to be done, any mark, any ding, any chip paint. You're gonna write all of these things down, and then you're gonna get your contractor to work on these things, because basically you're finalizing this house to be in A grade shape so you can put it on the market to sell it. So anyway, this is basically this is short. I got this under an hour. Okay, great. So anyway, this is how to get into real estate. This is basically for the novice or the person that is just thinking about getting in the business. Hopefully this is helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can contact me on brokegeniuses.com. You hit the consult me button right here. I'm giving away basically an extra 15 minutes, or basically whatever you need as far as time. I'm gonna give you double that. So it doesn't cost that much. Price of gas, a little small tank of gas, to ask me some questions if you need some questions answered. Okay. Hopefully this is beneficial for you.